The House will come to order.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
The chair recognizes the Sergeant at Arms.
I have the honor to announce the arrival of the members of the Senate of the state of Minnesota.
The Sergeant at Arms will escort the members of the Senate to the front of the chamber. The Joint Convention will come to order. Prayer by the chaplain.
A reading from Ecclesiastes. Besides being wise, the teacher taught the people knowledge, weighing and studying and arranging many proverbs. The teacher sought to find pleasing words and wrote words of truth plainly. Let us pray. We turn to you, O God, in thankfulness. We are grateful for the rich, broad tradition of higher education in Minnesota, and especially for the long history of the University of Minnesota. We are thankful for its many contributions to our state and beyond. Tonight we ask for your blessings. Bless this joint convention to elect 4 new members of the Board of Regents. bless also the whole endeavor of our university, regents, administration, faculty, staff, researchers, graduate students, and undergrads. May the gifts mentioned in Ecclesiastes be a dynamic description of the University of Minnesota: wisdom, knowledge, beauty, and truth. Yes, O God, bless all of the people of the university in all of its schools and on all of its campuses, so that our university will continue to be a blessing to the whole of our state and all of our people. Amen.
The prayer this evening is offered by Reverend Paul Rogers, Minneapolis, Minnesota. The secretary will call the roll.
Abler. Abler present. Anderson B. Anderson B present. Anderson P. Anderson P present. Bach. Is he getting up? Bach present. Would you get him to get up? Benson. Benson present. Carlson. Carlson present.
Recognize the majority leader, Senator Gazelka.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that further proceedings under the roll call be dispensed with.
Senator Gazelka moves that further proceedings under the roll call be dispensed with. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. No. The motion prevails. A quorum is present. Members of the Joint Convention, our charge today is to elect candidates to the Board of Regents of the University of Minnesota as follows: one regent from the 2nd Congressional District for a term of 6 years, one regent from the 3rd Congressional District for a term of 6 years, one regent from the 8th Congressional District for a term of 6 years, and one at-large regent for a term of 6 years. A communication from the Joint Legislative Committee relating to the Board of Regents.
Communication from the Joint Legislative Committee for candidates for vacancies on the Board of Regents of the University of Minnesota. Dear Speaker Doubt, Majority Leader Gazelka, and Minority Leaders Hortman and Bach, pursuant to Minnesota Statutes 2016, Section 137.0246, Subdivision 2, and the Joint Rule of the Senate and House 4.01, the Joint Legislative Committee met on February 7, 2017 to consider vacancies on the University of Minnesota Board of Regents.
A copy of the letter has been provided to all members of the Joint Convention. Pursuant to the rules of pursuant to the joint rules, those persons listed in the report are considered nominated. Pursuant to our joint rules, there will be 2 roll calls. The Secretary will call the roll first on the election of candidates from the 3 congressional districts. He will then call the roll on the election of 1 at-large member. The state constitution requires that the roll must be called by voice vote. We will now elect candidates from the 3 congressional districts. The following persons have been nominated by the Joint Committee: Steve Svigum, 2nd Congressional District, 6 years. Darren Rocha, 3rd Congressional District, 6 years. David McMillan, 8th Congressional District, for a term of 6 years. Are there any further nominations for any of the congressional districts? Senator Klein.
Mr. Speaker, I nominate Sandra Krebsbach from the city of Winona Heights for CD2.
Sandra Krebsbach has been nominated for the 2nd Congressional District seat for a term of 6 years. Are there any further nominations? Senator Abler.
Thank you, Mr. President, and it's an honor to get to speak on the House floor again. It's my privilege to nominate Tom Devine for the 3rd District. And if there's been an exemplar of a trustee, of a regent of the University of Minnesota, it would be him. I don't think he owns a tie that's not maroon and gold. He goes to everything. He believes. He inspires. And I hope that we can choose him as a regent from the 3rd Congressional District. Thank you, Mr. President.
Representative Abler nominates Tom Devine from the 3rd Congressional District for a term of 6 years. Are there any further nominations? Any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? If there are no further nominations, I declare nominations closed for candidates of the from the 3 congressional districts. If you wish to vote for candidates nominated by the Joint Committee, you may do so by naming the candidates or by saying slate. Members, I will enforce order on the floor so that our staff can hear the roll call and your votes. The Secretary will now call the roll on the election of candidates from the 3 congressional districts.
Abler. Abler votes Sviggum, Devine, McMillan. Anderson B.
2nd District, Pass. 3rd District, Rocha. 8th District, McMillan.
Anderson B. Pass in the 2nd. 3rd, Rocha. 8th, McMillan. Anderson P. Anderson P. votes Sviggum, Rocha, McMillan. Bach. Bach votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Benson. Benson votes Slate. Carlson. Carlson votes Kresbach, Devine, and McMillan. Chamberlain. Chamberlain votes Slate. Champion. Champion votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Clausen. Clausen votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Cohen. Cohen votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Swadzinski. Swadzinski votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Dames. Dames votes Slate. Dibble. Dibble votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Draheim. Draheim votes Slate. Diedzik. Diedzik votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Eaton. Eaton votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Eichhorn. Slate. Eichhorn votes Slate. Eakin. Eakin votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Fischbach. Slate. Fischbach votes Slate. Franzen. Franzen votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Friends. Friends votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Gazelka. Gazelka votes Slate. Goggin. Goggin votes Slate. Hall. Hall votes Slate. Herr. Herr votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Hayden. Hayden votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Hoffman. Hoffman votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Housley. Housley votes Sviggum, Devine, McMillan. Ingebrigtsen. Ingebrigtsen votes Slate. Isaacson. Isaacson votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Jasinski. Jasinski votes Slate. Jensen. Jensen votes Slate. Johnson. Johnson votes Slate. Kent. Kent votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Kiffmeyer. Kiffmeyer votes Slate. Klein. Klein votes Kresbach, Rocha, McMillan. Curran. Coran votes slate. Lane. Lane votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Lang. Lang votes slate. Latz.
Kresbach, Devine, McMillan.
Latz votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Limmer. Limmer votes slate. Little. Little votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Laurie. Laurie votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Marty. Marty votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Matthews. Matthews votes slate. Miller. Miller votes slate. Nelson. Nelson votes Sviggum, Devine, McMillan. Newman. Newman votes slate. Newton. Newton votes Kresbach, Rocha, McMillan. Osmic. Osmic votes slate. Pappas.
Devine, McMillan.
Pappas votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Pratt. Pratt votes slate. Ralph. Ralph votes Sviggum, Devine, McMillan. Rest votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Rosen. Rosen votes slate. Rude. Rude votes Sviggum, Devine, McMillan. Can't hear up there. Schoen. Schoen votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Senjum. Sviggum votes, or Senjum votes Sviggum, Devine, McMillan. Simonson. Simonson votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Sparks. 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 Tomasoni. Tomasoni votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Torres Ray. Torres Ray votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Utke. Utke votes slate. Weber. Weber votes slate. Westrom. Westrom votes slate. Uyghur. Uyghur votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Wickland. Wickland votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Albright. Albright votes slate. Allen. Allen votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Anderson P. Anderson P votes slate. Anderson S. Anderson S votes slate. Anselmo. Anselmo votes Sviggum, Devine, McMillan. Applebaum. Applebaum votes Kresbach, Rocha, McMillan. Backer. Backer votes slate. Barr. Barr votes slate. Baker. Baker votes slate. Barr R. Barr R votes slate. Becker Finn. Becker Finn votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Bennett. Bennett votes slate. Bernardi. Bernardi votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Bliss. Bliss votes slate. Bly. Bly votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Carlson A. Carlson A votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Carlson L. Carlson L. votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Christensen. Christensen votes Slate. Clark. Clark votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Considine.
Kresbach, pass. McMillan.
Considine. Kresbach, pass. McMillan. Cornish. Cornish votes Slate. Daniels. Daniels votes Slate. Davids. Davids votes Slate. Davney.
Kresbach, Devine, McMillan.
Davney votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Dean M. Dean M votes Slate. Dean R.
Pass.
Dean R. Pass. Detmer. Detmer votes Slate. Drazkowski. Drazkowski votes Slate. Eklund. Eklund votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Erickson. Erickson votes Slate. Fabian. Fabian votes Slate. Fenton. Fenton votes Slate. Fisher.
Kresbach, Devine, McMillan.
Fisher votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Flanagan.
Kresbach, Devine, McMillan.
Flanagan votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Frankie. Frankie votes Slate. Franson. Franson votes Slate. Freiberg. Freiberg votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Garofalo. Garofalo votes Slate. Green. Green votes Slate. Grossel. Grossel votes Slate. Gruenhagen. Gruenhagen votes Kresbach, Rocha, McMillan. Gunther. Gunther votes Slate. Haley. Haley votes Slate. Halverson. Halverson votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Hamilton. Hamilton votes Slate. Hanson. Hanson votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Hausman. Hausman votes Kresbach, Rocha, McMillan. Heinzman. Heinzman votes Slate. Hertos. Hertos votes Slate. Hillstrom.
Devine, McMillan.
Hillstrom votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Hoppy. Hoppy votes Sviggum, Devine, McMillan. Hornstein. Hornstein votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Hortman. Hortman votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Howe. Howe votes Slate. Jessup. Jessup votes Slate. Johnson B. Johnson B votes Slate. Johnson C.
Devine, McMillan.
Johnson C votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Johnson S. Johnson S votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Jurgens. Jurgens votes Slate. Keel. Keel votes Slate. Knobloch. Knobloch votes Slate. Cagle. Cagle votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Kosnick. Kosnick votes Slate. Creshaw. Creshaw votes Slate. Kunish, Podine. Kunish, Podine votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Lehman. Lehman votes Slate. Lee. Lee votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Lesh.
Kresbach, Rocha, McMillan.
Lesh votes Kresbach, Rocha, McMillan. Liebling. Liebling votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Lean. Lean votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Lilly. Lilly votes Sviggum, Rocha, McMillan. Loeffler. Loeffler votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Lomer. Lomer votes Slate. Loon. Loon votes Sviggum, Devine, McMillan. Lunan. Lunan votes slate. Lucero. Lucero votes slate. Lewick. Lewick votes slate. Mahoney. Mahoney votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Mariani. Mariani votes Kresbach, Devine, and McMillan. Marquardt. Marquardt votes Kresbach, Rocha, McMillan. Mason. Mason votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. McQuaid. Excused. McDonald. McDonald votes slate. Metza, excused. Miller. Miller votes slate. Moran. Moran votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Murphy E. Murphy E votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Murphy M. Murphy M votes slate. Nash. Nash votes slate. Nelson. Nelson votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. New. New votes slate. Newberger. Newberger votes slate. Nornis. Nornis votes slate. O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll votes slate. Olson. Olson votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Omar. Omar votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. O'Neill. O'Neill votes slate. Pulowski. Pulowski, pass. Rocha, McMillan. Pepin. Pepin votes slate. Petersburg. Petersburg votes slate. Peterson. Peterson votes slate. Pearson. Pearson votes slate. Pinto. Pinto votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Poppy. Poppy votes slate. Poston. Poston votes slate. Pryor. Pryor votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Pugh. Pugh votes slate. Quam. Quam votes slate. Rarick. Rarick votes slate. Rosenthal. Rosenthal votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Runbeck. Runbeck votes slate. Sandsted. Sandsted votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Salk. Salk votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Schumacher. Schumacher votes Figum, Devine, McMillan. Schultz. Schultz votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Scott. Scott votes slate. Slocum. Slocum votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Smith. Smith votes slate. Sundin. Sundin, pass. Pass. McMillan. Swazinski. Swazinski, slate. Tice. Tice, slate. Thiessen. Thiessen, Kresbach, Devine, and McMillan. Torkelson. Torkelson, slate. Uglum. Uglum votes slate. Erdahl. Erdahl, Sfigum, Devine, McMillan. Vogel. Vogel. Slate. Wagenius. Wagenius, Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Ward. Ward votes Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. West. West votes slate. Whalen. Whalen votes slate. Wills excused. Joachim.
Prescott, Devine, McMillan.
Joachim votes Kresbach, Devine, and McMillan. Zerwas. Zerwas votes slate. President Doubt.
Slate.
President Doubt votes slate. Sparks. 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 Anderson B. in the second. Anderson B. Anderson B. Okay. Considine in the third congressional. Rocha. Considine votes Rocha in the third congressional district. Okay, who else? Dean R. Dean R.
With students, Kresbach, Devine, and McMillan.
Dean R. Kresbach, Devine, McMillan. Pulowski passed in the second. Pulowski? Pulowski votes Kresbach in the second. Sundin? Sundin votes Kresbach in the second and Devine in the third.
I declare the roll call closed and request the secretary to tally the vote. The vote totals are as follows. 2nd Congressional District, Steve Svigum, 111 votes. Sandra Krebsbach, 85 votes. 3rd Congressional District, Darren Rocha, 110 votes. Tom Devine, 87 votes. 8th Congressional District, David McMillan, 197 votes. Therefore, Steve Svigum, 2nd Congressional District, Darren Rocha, 3rd Congressional District, David McMillan, 8th Congressional District, having received a majority of the votes cast, have been elected to the Board of Regents for a term of 6 years. Next, we will elect one at-large member. Tom Devine, at-large, 6 years, has been nominated by the Joint Committee. Are there any further nominations for the at-large seat? Senator Schoen. Schoen nominates Tim Pawlenty for the at-large seat for a term of 6 years. Representative Lean. Representative Lean nominates Kent Moldy for the at-large seat for a term of 6 years. Senator Osmek.
Mr. President, I nominate Deanne Wilbur of Wayzata for at-large seat.
Senator Osmek nominates Deanne Wilbur for the at-large seat for a term of 6 years. Are there any further nominations? Representative Nornis.
Mr. President, I nominate Ken Powell.
Representative Nornis nominates Ken Powell for the at-large seat for a term of 6 years. Senator Hayden.
Mr. Speaker, I nominate former Governor Arnie Powell.
Senator Hayden nominates Arnie Carlson for the at-large seat for a term of 6 years. Any additional governors would like to be nominated?
Does
that mean we should nominate you? No, I'm just kidding.
Any further nominations? Any further nominations? Any further nominations? If there are no further nominations, I declare nominations closed for the at-large seat. If you wish to vote for the candidate nominated by the Joint Committee, you may do so by saying slate. Again, members, thank you for being quiet during the first vote. Again, I will enforce order on the floor so that our staff can hear the roll call and your votes. The Secretary will now call the roll on the election of at-large member for the Board of Regents.
Abler. Abler votes Devine. Anderson B.
Wilbur.
Anderson B votes Wilbur. Anderson P. Anderson P votes Powell. Bach. Bach votes Powell. Benson. Benson votes Wilbur. Carlson. Carlson votes Powell. Chamberlain. Chamberlain votes Powell. Champion. Champion votes Powell. Clausen. Clausen votes Powell. Cohen. Cohen votes Powell. Swadzinski. Swadzinski votes Powell. Dames. Dames votes Powell. Dibble. Dibble votes Powell. Draheim. Draheim votes Powell. Diedzik. Diedzik votes Powell. Eaton. Eaton votes Powell. Eichhorn. Eichhorn votes Powell. Eakin. Eakin votes Powell. Fischbach. Fischbach votes Wilbur. Franson. Franson votes Powell. Friends. Friends votes Powell. Gazelka. Gazelka votes Powell. Goggin. Goggin votes Powell. Hall. Hall votes Powell. Herr votes Powell. Hayden. Hayden votes Powell. Hoffman. Hoffman votes Moldy. Housley. Housley, pass. Ingebrigtsen. Ingebrigtsen votes Powell. Isaacson. Isaacson votes Powell. Jasinski. Jasinski votes Powell. Jensen. Jensen votes Powell. Johnson. Johnson votes Powell. Kent. Kent votes Powell. Kiffmeyer. Kiffmeyer votes Powell. Klein. Klein votes Powell. Coran. Coran votes Powell. Lane. Lane votes Powell. Lang. Lang votes Powell. Latz. Latz votes Powell. Limmer. Limmer votes Wilbur. Lilly. Little votes Powell. Lori. Lori votes Powell. Marty. Marty votes Moldy. Matthews. Matthews votes Wilbur. Miller. Miller votes Powell. Nelson. Nelson votes Powell. Newman. Newman votes Wilbur. Newton. Newton votes Powell. Osmic. Osmic votes Wilbur. Pappas. Pappas votes Powell. Pratt. Pratt, pass. Ralph. Ralph votes Wilbur. Rest. Rest votes Powell. Rosen. Rosen votes Powell. Root. Root votes Slate. Schoen. Schoen votes Powell. Senjum. Senjum votes Powell. Simonson. Simonson votes Powell. Sparks. Sparks. Tomasoni. Tomasoni, Slate. Torres Ray. Torres Ray, pass. Utke. Utke, Powell. Weber. Weber votes Powell. Westrom. Westrom votes Powell. Uyghur. Uyghur votes Powell. Wicklund. Wicklund votes Powell. Albright. Albright votes Powell. Allen. Allen votes Moldy. Anderson P. Anderson P. votes Slate. Anderson S. Anderson S. votes Slate. Anselmo. Anselmo votes Powell. Applebaum. Applebaum votes Moldy. Backer. Backer votes Wilbur. Wilbur? Backer votes Wilbur. Barr. Barr votes Wilbur. Baker. Baker votes Slate. Barr R. Barr R votes Slate. Becker Finn. Becker Finn votes Powell. Bennett. Bennett votes Wilbur. Bernardi. Bernardi votes Powell. Bliss. Bliss votes Slate. Bly. Bly votes Moldy. Carlson A. Carlson A votes Powell. Carlson L. Carlson L votes Powell. Christensen. Christensen votes Powell. Clark. Clark votes Powell. Considine. Considine votes Moldy. Cornish. Cornish votes Powell. Daniels. Daniels votes Powell. Davids. Davids votes Powell. Davney. Davney votes Powell. Dean M. Dean M votes Wilbur. Dean R. Dean R votes Powell. Detmer. Detmer votes Slate. Drazkowski. Drazkowski votes Wilbur. Eklund. Eklund votes Powell. Erickson. Erickson votes Powell. Fabian. Fabian votes Powell. Fenton. Fenton votes Powell. Fisher. Fisher votes Powell. Flanagan. Flanagan votes Powell. Frankie. Frankie votes Powell. Fransom. Franson votes Powell. Freiberg. Freiberg votes Powell. Garofalo. Garofalo votes Palenti. Green. Green. Green votes Wilbur. Grossel. Grossel votes Powell. Gruenhagen. Gruenhagen votes Wilbur. Gunther. Gunther votes Powell. Haley. Haley votes Powell. Halverson. Halverson votes Powell. Hamilton. Hamilton votes Slate. Hanson. Hanson votes Devine. Hausman. Hausman votes Devine. Heinzeman. Heinzeman votes Powell. Hertos. Hertos votes Wilbur. Hillstrom. Hillstrom votes Powell. Hoppy. Hoppy votes Devine. Hornstein. Hornstein votes Powell. Hortman. Hortman votes Powell. Howe. Howe votes Moldy. Jessup. Jessup votes Powell. Johnson B. Johnson B votes Powell. Johnson C. Johnson C votes Powell. Johnson S. Johnson S votes Moldy. Jurgens. Jurgens votes Moldy. Keel. Keel votes Powell. Knobloch. Knobloch votes Powell. Cagle. Cagle votes Powell. Kosnick. Kosnick votes Palenti. Kreshaw. Kreshaw votes Devine. Kunish-Podine. Kunish-Podine votes Powell. Lehman. Lehman votes Powell. Lee. Lee votes Moldy. Thanks. Lesh. Lesh votes Powell. Liebling. Liebling votes Carlson A. Lean. Lean votes Moldy. Lilly. Lilly votes Powell. Loeffler. Loeffler votes Powell. Lomer. Lomer votes Wilbur. Loon. Loon votes Powell. Loonan. Loonan. Loonan votes Moldy. Lucero. Lucero votes Wilbur. Lewick. Lewick votes Powell. Mahoney. Mahoney votes Powell. Mariani. Mariani votes Devine. Marquardt. Marquardt votes Powell. Mason. Mason pass. Mayquade excused. McDonald. McDonald Slate. Metza excused. Miller. Miller votes Wilbur. Moran. Moran votes Powell. Murphy E. Murphy E votes Powell. Murphy M. Murphy M votes Pretner Solon. Nash. Nash votes Wilbur. Nelson. Nelson. Nelson votes Powell. New. New votes Powell. Newberger. Newberger votes Wilbur. Nornis. Nornis votes Powell. O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll votes Powell. Olson. Olson votes Powell. Omar. Omar votes Moldy. O'Neill. O'Neill votes Powell. Pulowski. Pulowski votes Powell. Pepin. Pepin votes Wilbur. Petersburg. Petersburg votes Powell. Peterson. Peterson votes Powell. Pearson. Pearson votes Powell. Pinto. Pinto votes Powell. Poppy. Poppy votes Powell. Poston. Poston votes Powell. Pryor. Pryor votes Powell. Pugh. Pugh votes Wilbur. Quam. Quam votes Wilbur. Rarick. Rarick votes Moldy. Rosenthal. Rosenthal votes Moldy. Runbeck. Runbeck votes Powell. Sandsted. Sandsted votes Powell. Salk. Salk votes Powell. Schumacher. Schumacher votes Devine. Schultz. Schultz votes Powell. Scott. Scott votes Wilbur. Slocum. Smith votes Wilbur. Sundin. Sundin votes Pretner-Solon. Swazinski. Swazinski votes Slate. Tice. Tice votes Powell. Thiessen. Thiessen votes Powell. Torkelson. Torkelson votes Slate. Uglum. Uglum votes Powell. Erdahl. Erdahl votes Devine. Vogel. Vogel votes Wilbur. Wagenius. Wagenius votes Powell. Ward. Ward votes Powell. West. West votes Powell. Whalen. Whalen votes Wilbur. Wills excused. Joachim. Joachim Powell. Zerwas. Zerwas Devine. President Doubt? President Doubt votes Powell. Okay. So we got Housley, right? Housley. Housley votes Palenti. Pratt. Pratt votes Devine. Sparks. Sparks. Torres Ray. Torres Ray votes Belton. Okay, who's the next House person? It looks like Mason, right? Mason. Mason votes Powell. Is that it?
I declare the roll call closed and request the secretary to tally the vote. We do have the vote totals for the at-large election for a term of 6 years. Tom Devine, 22 votes. Kent Moldy, 16 votes. Ken Powell, 124 votes. Deanne Wilbur, 28 votes. Tim Pawlenty, 3 votes. Yvonne Pretner-Solon, 2 votes. Arnie Carlson, 1 vote. Sharon Sales Belton, 1 vote. Therefore, Ken Powell, having received a majority of the votes cast, has been elected as the at-large member for a term of 6 years to the University Board of Regents. Members, please give our very capable front desk House and Senate staff a round of applause for their work. I now recognize Senator Gazelka.
Thank you, Mr. President. I now move that the joint convention do now adjourn.
Senator Gazelka moves that the joint convention do now adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion prevails and the joint convention is now adjourned. The House will come to order. I recognize the Majority Leader, Representative Pepin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House do now adjourn.
Representative Pepin moves that the House do now adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion prevails and the House stands adjourned until 3:30 p.m. on Thursday, February 23rd, 2017.